Welcome all to Spotlight Sessions, where we shine a light on incredible organizations and the work that they do. My name is Josh Basil. I am your host today. I'm a C4-5 quadriplegic. I'm an attorney and a disability rights advocate, passionate about breaking down barriers through access and inclusion for people with disabilities. I'm very excited to have Bob Sonnenberg today from the Earle Baum Center. Welcome, and thank you so much for being here today.
Well, thank you. Thanks for this opportunity, Josh, and thank you for letting me say a few words about the Earle Baum Center. I'm thrilled with the opportunity.
Thank you. So, Bob, tell me a little bit more about yourself.
So, I'm fifth generation Californian. The Earle Baum Center is located out here in Santa Rosa, California, and we're a regional vision rehabilitation organization. So basically what that means is that we serve and help transform the lives of folks with sight loss. My journey and entree into the world of limited vision, sight loss, began about 16 years ago, driving up to the city of Sacramento, the capital of California. All of a sudden I couldn't see the freeway signs, and it definitely was a monumental time in my life. And the diagnosis at the time, and still is myopic degeneration. So it's similar to macular degeneration. It's just really, probably in layman's terms and in my terms, it's really heavy duty nearsightedness. So I don't see very well close up or distance wise, but there's no blank spots. It's just the lack of vision acuity that I deal with.
And what is your role at the Earle Baum Center, and kind of what does your day-to-day look like?
So it's really been an incredible journey for me, from having that day 16 years ago to now. I serve as not only the CEO of the Earle Baum Center, but also oversee all the development, marketing, communications for the Earle Baum Center. So we've been around for about 22 years, and we have a staff of 16 incredibly passionate individuals here at the Earle Baum Center. So
it sounds like you do it all. So when it comes to anybody that's new knocking at your door, are you helping persons with full blindness, low vision? Can you give us a little bit more about the people that you serve?
So I would say the majority of the folks that come to the Earle Baum Center seeking the services provided by us do have low vision, but that doesn't say we do not work with folks with no vision whatsoever. And we actually have a Braille instructor on staff here that teaches Braille. So that's one of the programs that we offer.
Tell me an example of someone coming through your doors and kind of what type of things you do for them.
So one of the keys is that if possible, say in dealing with folks with low vision, one of the things, and one of the door openers is that you have a chance to go get a low vision specialist examination by a licensed physician. We have two of them that we work with currently, and basically they assess by looking at your eyes without dilation, just what tools might be available to help enhance your remaining vision. And those tools suggestions could be perhaps glare shields, it could be video magnifiers, or it could be how to use, if you like to travel, have an active lifestyle, how to use a cane, how do you travel safely. And we also, folks that want to get re-engaged with life as far as accessing their computers once again. There's technology out there that we train folks on how to use assistive technology. And that's a critical thing, especially it really came evident in the world of the pandemic that we're all living in now worldwide, where prior to the pandemic beginning, very few, if any, of our classes were taught remotely. And now I'd say at least we would move from a platform of in-person training to remote training almost within a week, pretty much 100%. And now we have loosened up a little bit and are doing some one-on-one in-person training, but we are also offering, and it's kind of been the silver lining, we're able to offer remote training through technology, whether it be a Zoom, typical Zoom call, video-wise, or even just telephone services. We've been able to access a thing called Uber conferencing, where we can actually help folks that can't see at all or have limited sight. We can set it up so that we can call them directly if we have their number in advance, and they can engage and participate in the training services we have here at Earle Baum Center. It's pretty amazing.
It absolutely is. It's just everything that I'm hearing from you, which I love, is that, disability focused organizations, especially yours, it just shows like when challenges come our way, we learn we adapt, and we know that it's, staying in one place at one time and trying to beat the same drum every day doesn't always work. And, as time goes on, you got to figure out that new beat. You guys are doing a great job.
It's always, it's always easy to complain, and you always got to look for solutions. So you identify problems, and like you embrace fully, I think, Josh, is that looking for solutions, finding solutions, adapting, being resilient. You can't ever give up. And so much of life is attitude. You only get to do this life living once, so you may as well enjoy it and be joyful about it. That's kind of my mantra. Joy is pretty cool to be able to experience joy.
What I love is that the services that you are providing provides those tools and those skills that people need to both survive and thrive in the community, which is just, it's incredible. And thank you for all that you do.
Well, you're more than welcome, but I'm just, it's in some respects, I mean, having lived through it myself, I understand what a difference it can make. And it's really fun and really fun for me to share that joy with other folks, because it's wonderful to see that joy be captured, be received.
So with those other folks that you're talking about, I would love for you to either share a story about that, or, what is one of your proudest accomplishments that you'd love to share with the work that you do?
I think I'd love sharing the story about one of the things for me when I first heard about an opportunity when I've lost my sight. One of the suggestions was to go to a low vision specialist, and they would help determine how you could enhance your remaining sight. So when I heard those words, enhance, okay, that means make better. To me, that was my definition. I didn't go just to one because they didn't really enhance my sight, so I went to a couple of them, okay? So when folks come to the Earle Baum Center, go through our low vision clinic, our doctors are able to make suggestions and work with our rehab specialists that perhaps will help them learn how to use a cane, or at least embrace using a cane to travel safely as a person with low vision. But I think one of the amazing things is that if you're able to come to a low vision clinic, you go through the exam with a doctor, and then you are able to connect with one of our rehabilitation specialists, and they're able to show you what's known as a video magnifier, or perhaps it goes by a number of different names, but a video magnifier, or it could be called as a CCTV, which is just basically a big screen that you can put a document under it and it'll magnify it for you, and then you can read it like you used to read, okay? But one of the great stories is having someone come to the Earle Baum Center, go through the assessment, and have the assessment say, maybe you ought to try a CCTV or a video magnifier. And then we are blessed because of donors, because of supporters, because of funders. We are blessed to be able to have a kind of a library of CCTVs where somebody comes to the center and we're able to lend that CCTV out to them. They're able to take it away and at that time and walk away with something tangible in their hands that they got a gift, okay? It is a gift. because they're able to see a document again. That's like transformative. It's joyful. It's just a great. If you could bottle that and sell that, that'd be fabulous. But we can't. But so it's each one by one. We try and provide that type of service to people.
Well, so much of what you're saying, really, whether there's so many different types of abilities, disabilities, conditions.
Yeah.
And I know for myself, after my injury, my paralysis, I was injured when I was 18, and I was in the ocean, and a wave picked me up and threw me onto my head against the ocean floor. And when I broke my neck, everything changed. I had to relearn everything. And what you're saying, with the stories that you're saying, and with trying new things, is that yes, you did things, many different ways before, but now you get to figure out many new ways to do it. And it's just there's different tools, and you just have to have kind of that willingness to try. And once you try, you're like, you know what, this worked for me, or you know what, it didn't work for me. But finding the ways that it does work for you can really give you so many more things to experience and be a part of with this world, which is awesome.
I think a really great way to, and Josh, hopefully you will confirm this, but I think the way to look at it is that, you're in life, you're given gifts, okay? And some gifts come with bad wrapping paper, okay? So like your injury was bad wrapping paper. My sight loss, bad wrapping paper. But a gift is a gift, and it's from the heart. And so to be able to embrace that, that's pretty, there's nothing better, more joyful in life than being able to embrace a gift.
It is, and I think embracing a gift allows you to have the options to keep moving forward,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
and to really experience the world in beautiful ways. I know my injury changed everything. I did things 1 million ways before, and now I get to do it 1 million new ways, and that's 1 million different ways that can still be fun and meaningful. I would love to know more with your perspective on with the people you serve and in your own personal life. What does accessibility mean to you?
I think it allows you to be fully engaged again. It part of a group, and it can be really, especially when you can't see it, it can be really isolating. And if you can't see a computer, it can be really frustrating. If you can't, you can see it, but you can't see what's on a computer. So with all the accessibility tools associated with computer and having a computer read to you, whether it be through a complete through JAWS, which is a software tool that's used a lot in the blind community or the low vision community, but using the iPhone and being able to have things read to you audio wise versus vision wise, and you definitely have to adapt and maybe listen a little bit better, but being part of that group once again, having accessible tools, being able to have tools that are even available to you for you to use and to get re-engaged with life again. It's tremendous. It makes such a difference. And surrounding yourself and learning from other people is really helpful too. And so not only learning from other people, but looking for tools that help you get back to where you were prior to my disabilities, my sight loss. And so 16 years ago, the whole internet world was a lot different than it is today, but I used and it worked for me. And I'm more and more, I'm learning how to do things better on a computer, and having a feature like accessibility is really critical to that success. And it's improved my just my joyful life, my outlook, and helped me solve a lot more problems than I thought I ever could solve. So
That's awesome, man. Having access to tools, having access to mentors. I know
yeah.
for anybody, whether able-bodied or having differing disabilities or abilities, is if you can have someone show you what's possible, so you don't have to learn it by yourself from scratch. it becomes that much easier. I tell newly injured families, there's no point to reinvent the wheel. Somebody's
Yeah,
already done it, and it's the same thing with, I think, and you can tell me this with the blind and low vision community. There's being alone kind of keeps you into the dark, and
it does.
what would you
Yeah.
say about that?
It absolutely does. And it's I think the majority of people we like to be social, okay? And it makes it's not as much fun doing things alone. It's always better, building relationships, sharing with others. It's you get so much more out of it if you are able to share experiences rather than just have them here, provide them just to you from a selfish perspective. But I think I always look at maybe a Helen Keller quote has kind of been a great mantra for me when I first lost my sight. One of her, I am paraphrasing it, but it's a line that kind of I never forget about. It's alone we can do a little bit, and together we can do so much more. So embrace all those tools, embrace that sight loss, and just figure out how to make things work. Because otherwise, you don't really get to experience life to the fullest and what you perhaps had planned to, either unplanned or not planned to, prior to my disability. It just you take things for granted, but so don't take things for granted. Enjoy life every day.
I love that so much. It's incredible what we can do together. And
Yeah.
within this world, we're surrounded by businesses, and I would love to know, what message would you want to send to businesses on how to better reach or better serve persons with blindness or low vision?
Never give up. People can. There's always a solution, I think, and if you have that attitude as far as looking for solutions. I will never forget when I first made the transition and lost the sight, and I was with an organization that really I always felt initially that I was like the pioneer blind person. Okay, and one of the things that they figured that, okay, all blind people, they don't have to see very much. But they can still have a skill set of answering the phones. Okay, and to tell me at age 51, whatever the age it was, 16 years ago, it's about 51. Anyhow, the first comment out of that when they made a transition from one position to another one to accommodate the sight loss, they wanted me to answer the telephones. And I remember the supervisor coming over and saying, Bob, you're probably not a good way to start the conversation. You're probably not going to like this, but I'd like you to answer the phones here. And that didn't really sit well with me, but instead of dwelling on it, harping on it, I look for solutions. Okay. And ultimately, I'm now the CEO. Fortunately, I'm blessed to be part of an organization. I happen to be the CEO. I do more than answer the phones here. Or
You,
at least
you,
I feel like I do.
you do a lot. It sounds like you do a little of
Yeah.
everything. And with businesses, whether it's a nonprofit or really for profits, I feel like what you're saying is, um, there's a lot that people with disabilities and blind or low vision can do. It's just, every time that you are surrounded by people with different abilities, it becomes a teaching moment for
Yeah.
everybody to know what you can do, or, oh my God, that this is helping our business this way, or this community can actually be a big purchaser of our products. Why don't we make it more accessible, more uh, easier to access and include this community? I'd love to know kind of what you think about all of that
I
over the
think
years.
I think that education piece makes such a difference for everybody. It's great to provide education to somebody, and it's also great to receive education because you the more you're educated, the more you know that there are solutions. It just kind of inspires you to do more. Um, I get inspired by seeing people be successful. I get inspired by having people be curious about, about how to solve things, how to do things maybe differently. And it's a challenging thing sometimes to not only provide education but receive education, because you've got to be, all the stars have to line up for it to be really successful. But it can, it's just a matter of solving the puzzle.
And it's a puzzle worth solving.
Yeah.
And when it comes to, this is going to be my last question. And
Okay.
if you could have a conversation kind of with anybody in the world, I would want to know who would it be with and why.
I think I've used this recently, and I'm inspired by her presence. And she was a city attorney for San Francisco. She was a attorney general for the state of California. And now she's vice president of the United States. Kamala Harris.
Yes.
Would be the one that I would love to meet. One, she broke glass ceiling in this respect that she's vice president, first female, first Asian, first Indian descent, but she's not going to be the last one. So to meet her and to I would love to have a conversation with her, because I think it's such a gift that she has given women. She's given everybody in the world, from never giving up, and incredible mantra, incredible articulate educator person. And that's probably on the top of my list to be able to meet her someday, and have a conversation with her.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your journey, sharing the BAC's journey, Earle Baum Center's journey, and the work that you do. And just thank you so much, Bob, for your time and sharing this with the audience today.
It's absolutely my pleasure. Thank you so much, Josh.